Good evening, life groups, and anyone else who is listening to this. So just a few questions, going to keep it pretty brief tonight. In terms of how much you discuss, that's obviously up to you, but I've got 3 questions that I'd love you to think about, to discuss, and to pray into around our identity and our identity in Christ. So first question is a biggie. And that is, if you are really honest, where do you think you could find your sense of identity that isn't in God? Where do you think that you could find your sense of identity, and what could be the dangers in this? So let me give you some examples. Sometimes we find our identity in relationship status or body shape, or how we present ourselves in social media or in real life. Could be even our role in church. There's loads of ways that we can find our sense of identity that can be less healthy. What could be that danger for you? Now, don't worry if you spend a lot of time on this. It's a deep question, and you may want to start off in breakout rooms of small groups, just 2 or 3, so you can feel you can be honest before coming back together, but I'll leave that to you guys. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, what ways could you ensure that you are finding your affirmation and identity in God, so that you don't enter that negative cycle of grief that I mentioned about? Just like Jesus at his baptism, we want to find our sense of identity, of belovedness, of affirmation in God. What practical ways could you perhaps begin your day or throughout the week be aware of this message from God that will help you to enter a cycle of grace rather than a cycle of grief? So another big question for you to think about. Final question with 2 parts is about baptism. So in the New Testament, baptism, particularly to Paul and to Peter, seems to be really, really important. It seems to say quite a lot about our identity when you hear Paul talk about it, particularly in kind of Romans 6 and that area. Why do you think Paul tells the churches to remember their baptism? What effect do you think this has on their identity when he says, remember your baptism? That's the main question. You may also want to spend time chatting about, have you been baptized as a follower of Christ? Or parents, do you have children who are following Jesus, are believing and can explain their faith? Is it time to chat to them about the opportunity to get baptized? So have a good time chatting about baptism. Cheers. Bye.